What's going on, everyone? Sid Gordon here with the Sid Gordon Podcast, powered by Core Medical. So about a week and a half ago, as everyone knows, I was in Idaho with a dear friend of mine, Cody Alford, big fan favorite in my circle, and amazing guy. And we had the opportunity to speak about someone who Casey really cared, who Cody really cared for, Casey West. He's on our podcast today. Casey's going through a battle right now, in great spirits. And, not only are we going to talk today about, Casey's battle, but we're also going to talk about how important it is to just have gratitude and how important it is to understand that no matter how much money in the world you have, no matter what, health is so important. And Casey's on today. I look forward to forming a relationship with Casey. I've heard just amazing things about him. So Casey, thanks so much for coming on, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys. It means a lot. And, I love Cody with all my heart, bro. So it's cool to be able to connect with him more and just link up, brother. So thank you.
He hasn't introduced anyone to me that hasn't been just like an amazing dude. So I'm sure you'll be at the top of the food chain there. So, man, I start this podcast off pretty much the same, like kind of how you grew up, where you came from. I know you had some time in the military and been through a lot. As much as you want to share, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, man. So we'll just start off from the beginning. I was born in Richmond, Virginia. Had a pretty interesting childhood, to say the least. A lot of adversity early on in life, which, all these, little situations that were hard made the situation I'm in now pretty easy. And that's, perspective. But, so, classic rough childhood, turned Marine. And when I went to the Marine Corps, I started off as a helicopter mechanic and then was homegrown air crew, and then just, was flying around doing my thing out in Afghanistan and working on helicopters for years and exposed to all sorts of toxic chemicals and just a lot of exposure that at 22 years old, 23 years old, you don't necessarily think of, what that's going to do down the road, because we're only focused on getting the mission done. So Marine Corps career is pretty successful. Then went into a pretty wild life. After flying around shooting machine guns and being in combat, you need a little bit of thrill in your life. So I went, 1% motorcycle club world, and went and did that life for a few years and was pretty sick the whole time I was in the club, and left on terms that weren't favorable, but that is what it is. And life has just provided me with this experience after experience. And then being sick for so long, man, I haven't known what good health is most of my life. So I know it's a quick down and dirty, but, just grew up always fighting against, all the odds, and Marine Corps survived. And then was in a Mongols motorcycle club, man, survived that. And, a better man for all that. And then the cancer journey began shortly after that, a few years. And when I was first diagnosed, January 2022, that was, I guess, when my life was fully potentiated. Like, I wasn't doing much, feeling pretty much like a victim to the world, and, not motivated to make any progress or growth in my life. So, man, God's got a funny way of helping us grow. And, that cancer diagnosis, I've never really taken it as an unfortunate situation, because I've become a much better man through the entire process and been able to help a lot of people and share my story. So this whole life I've had has just been preparing me for this journey. And, we talked about gratitude, and I'm just grateful to be here every single day that I'm still here. I'm so filled with joy. I don't look at the negative things in life, because there's so much more positive things to focus on every day. Beautiful wife, beautiful baby girl. And as you can see, I'm on this podcast. I've got really good support network out there in this world. So that's just a quick down and dirty. It's always been interesting, man. So this is just me on my healing journey and doing it without the standard of care, doing it without, relying on a doctor to tell me how to heal, going out and figure it out for myself and becoming my own doctor. And in the process, I'm going to be able to help the world and help a lot of people, you know, either beat cancer or, get more time. And that's the one gift that we can't give or get back. So if I can teach people how to start taking care of themselves and through my journey, then that's a win, brother.
Yeah, so it's really funny. I grew up in Boston and just outside the city, and my one of my jobs was in construction. Worked like bobcats and road work, and I worked for a gentleman named George Crusoe, who was the president of the Hells Angels in Lowell, Massachusetts, at like freaking 15 years old. And then my story's interesting. I I was around that world my whole life growing up. My dad abandoned us when I was super young, and I played like what's wrong with me when my dad left because I was so young, and then turned into this kid who's just like no fucks given, right? And that's just because I wasn't taught right. I wasn't taught like that's probably not the best path to take, and made a lot of big mistakes. Ended up down in Florida, and was here for a long period of time, and kind of fell off track a little bit myself, and started riding with the sport club of the Outlaws down here. And it was like you just get so caught up in that mix, and you're just like, ugh. Still friends with a lot of guys today. Got to experience some crazy shit, and I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't take it back, and it's that journey that you're just talking about. It's like so interesting to me because like, why is our journey, right? Like, it's just like, it's not like we're like, we have this crystal ball and there's this like yellow brick road that we fucking follow. It's just like one thing can happen and all of a sudden you're just fucking off the rails for like no reason whatsoever. And being through that type of stuff, and I was running a very successful business at the time. It just made no sense to anybody looking at it, right? But I was just addicted to it. It was great. And then, Mel Chansey comes into my life. You obviously know that. And, he's a man of God now, and he was, a pretty badass dude back in the day. And his journey completely changed just from meeting a dude in the gym one day. His whole life changed, and he spent a decade in prison and wouldn't take any of that back. So it's funny, during the situations, you're like, oh God, this sucks. But then after, you're like, wow, that was great. And I think that could be contributed a little bit about how you're living right now, man. It seems like you're just, I see on social media, you're like so fucking positive, and I'm just looking at it like, oh my gosh, this guy's just like he's like so much happier than me, and he's going through so much stuff. And, my hat's off to you. It's just, that's amazing. As I was telling you before the podcast, you're my best friend since like fourth grade. Son has been fighting cancer, and that kid has never seen, he's never seen a normal life, right? I mean, I don't know what a normal life is, but he's never seen a life. He's had like 65 brain ports, over 120 rounds of chemo. You could stab him with a switchblade in the hand, and he would just look at you because his pain tolerance is through the roof, and it's all he knows is massive doses of pain. And it's wild. And, they call him Superman. He's the face of Fenway Park. He's the face of a lot of different things. And, that family, and I didn't really get it, right? And I didn't get it. And that family spends whatever time they're not in the hospital with other families explaining what their life is going to be like, right? And explaining that process. And, for those people out there that are listening to this podcast, because I got a lot of questions for Casey, pay attention to this and like look around and make sure you're being the best that you can be. Because, there's a lot of people that aren't taking advantage of how amazing life is. And, that shit can come to an end real quick. And the last thing that I want to be is sitting on that deathbed saying I didn't do the best I could do. That's my focus these days. I just went and got tortured by your boy Cody for 4 days straight in Idaho. And I was like, why the hell did I just do this? But whatever, it was awesome. And I've I've probably filled up the next slot completely by myself of just talking to people about it. It's just stuff like that. So, what's interesting is what you said was like you're your own doctor, and Core Medical is like completely out of the box. Hormone replacement therapy. We don't work like any urologist, any GP. We don't work like the VA. We work like tailor-made programs for everybody. Doses are different, medication's different, even strands of hormones are different. We use cypionate, grapeseed, cypionate with different oils in them depending on, their blood makeup and things. And people don't understand how important those little tweaks are for the human body because we're not all built the same. So when you said you're your own doctor, can you get into kind of the things that you've been doing and the things that you've done? Because I know you already had one situation where they said that you weren't going to be alive today, correct?
Yeah. They gave me 3 months, so said I'll go ahead and just jump into it, brother. So, being my own doctor, right? And when you go and you get a diagnosis like mine, and they tell you that you have 3 months to live, you have an option there. You listen to that doctor, and you accept whatever fate he's dealing you, because he's just casting a spell on you. There's no one knows. So how can he know? Possibly, he's not God. He has no idea what's going to happen. So one issue right off the bat with making that decision is you have to be confident in your ability to research and figure it out. And fear, fear is such a detrimental emotion when it comes to your health, because a lot of people are afraid and they go do things that will end up killing them. It's not necessarily the cancer that kills them, it's the cancer treatments that kill them. And, it's a really, really unfortunate thing when you know this amount of knowledge when it comes to healing your own body, and you speak on like how you guys do things at Core Medical. Like, it's so important to have a tailor-made protocol for yourself, because everyone's genetics are different. What works for some person may be catastrophic for another, and so that's where you really dive in deep, right? So test, don't guess. You need to know your genetic makeup. You need to know all the things: what's in your blood, what's in your body, toxins. And the first thing that you can do when this type of diagnosis hits is, control what you can control. And that would be, like, for instance, diet, right? So you take these small steps periodically as you're figuring your stuff out, but the first thing you can do is stop feeding cancer. So through the research, that was the first step. And the amount of confidence you have to have in your ability to heal, it has to exist in you, because it can be scary. For me, it's not something that I've ever really been afraid of, man. And to go research and become more knowledgeable than oncologists, to become more knowledgeable than most people in the field that are treating cancer, because they only know the standard of care. They don't look in these other directions because there's no profit in these other directions. So you have to take it upon yourself. Like, even if you do decide to go standard of care route, do your own research. Supplement the standard of care route you want to go. I'm not speaking ill of any decision you want to make, because everyone battles differently. But if you have a chance to heal while you're battling, then that's the goal, right?
Yeah. So what steps have you taken as far as and just like I said, it's tailor-made, and this is to the audience, it's tailor-made for him. I mean, he's done a lot of work around this. Like, what type of things have you done? What type of things have you implemented into your life that got you
Yeah,
that got you past that first 3 months? Because obviously, it's been like 2 years since that diagnosis that you were going to be alive only for 3 months.
yeah,
Obviously, you had to do something that was amazing, right? That wasn't just like guesswork. That was like some fucking hardcore shit, probably. So, I mean, it's like it wasn't, you know, let's just spin this wheel around and wherever it lands, I'm going to do it type of thing. I'm super interested in what you implemented.
yeah. So, right away implementation, right? I'll walk you through like the very first steps of after the diagnosis. That was diet, right? Stop feeding cancer, no sugar, no glucose in the blood. You really want to get on like a hardcore keto diet if you have an active tumor. And then it was off to the gates with the research. So started figuring out like individual cell health, focusing on a single cell, how to make that cell healthy. And that's where my research really started. So I started implementing things that are going to stress, healthy stressors, like hormesis, stressing the body in a healthy way. And so there's a lot of things that you can do to do that or use that as a tool. So like breath work, you can alkaline your body. Cancer cannot thrive in an oxygenated environment. So you go do breath work, you can oxygenate your body, alkaline it. Grounding, getting out in the sunlight every single day. That sun gives our body information. It heals us, gives our body information for the rest of the day. And grounding at the same time, you get all your red blood cells moving and your blood moving good in the body. You release, any energy that does not serve your highest right back into the ground, and it heals you. So there's some very simple things that anyone can do right off the bat. Stop putting shit in your mouth that's not going to heal you, right? Like stop eating like crap. If you know you have a cancer diagnosis, it drives me crazy when I see people drinking alcohol like on a regular basis, or eating Skittles, or eating this crazy stuff. Like you're trying to heal, so let's heal. Let's not add to the fire, the dumpster on fire rolling down the hill. So, after a military service, the big thing is detoxification. If you served in the military at all, you've been exposed to some form of toxins. So detoxification of the cell is so important, because if you can't detox your cell, if your cell's overloaded with toxins, how do you get nutrients into that cell? You know what I mean? So really understanding how you can move nutrients in and out of cells in your body, what supplements can help, magnesium and different stuff like that. There's so many little things that add up to the whole. It's not, I just did these treatments. I mean, I've done plant medicine because of, the life's experiences, the adversity in life, and not expressing your energy, your emotions and stuff like that properly. That's really important. So plant medicine helped me release some trauma, some energy, and just eating healthy, organic foods, staying away from toxic stuff, man. Like fragrances are super toxic. There's everywhere you go is toxic, man. It's super hard to figure that out. So like me and my wife live out in the middle of the woods, so stress is like, we try to mitigate stress big time. So that's one thing. Like you can do all things right, but if you have a lot of stress in your life, if you're not sleeping, which sleep's another thing I struggle with sometimes. So sleep is very important, and you can do sauna, hyperthermia. So hyperthermia will kill cancer, and you can use that as a tool to help detox at the same time. You can run a cold plunge. You can do contrast therapies. Cold plunge helps heal. It just sends a bunch of blood to the core, your abdomen area, and your brain. So if you're doing methylene blue, IVs, to help with your cell health, mitochondrial function. There's so many little things to help kill cancer, and really it's just, you want to have an alkaline body, and you want to make sure that you're not consuming things they're called fermentable fuels for cancer. So like glutamine, your proteins, amino acids, and like your glucose, sugars. So you want to make sure you're breaking all that down in your body properly. And then one thing that has been really big is exercise. Like, guys, just because you get a cancer diagnosis, like chemotherapy is less likely to work than just getting on a Peloton or going walking. If you become physically active during your healing journey, then your cancer has a way harder time thriving in the body if you're building healthy muscle and you're staying, fit and in shape. And
Wow.
that's a big proponent. Yeah.
So we do a lot with our veterans with glutathione, high dose vitamin C, NAD. And I'm going to tell you a story right now. That was like so one of my dearest friends, a jiu-jitsu training partner, was a ranger. He was a scout. And I watched him like deteriorating. He's a police officer, sheriff, two beautiful girls. This dude's one of the best guys ever. And he's like, Sid, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, neuropathy's like crazy. My joints hurt so bad. I can't get out of bed. I'm gaining fat. He's always been in great shape. He was my jiu-jitsu training partner for like 7 years. He like was just like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm like, all right, listen, dude, this is what we're going to do. We're going to hit you with this like super high dose vitamin C. And the doctors had him on everything you could imagine under the sun. I'm like, Mike, please stop this right now. And it's obviously the VA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, dude, just come off this stuff right now. We have an amazing doctor team. I mean, our medical staff is just unreal. And one of my PAs went through this whole entire toxicity course about burn pits, the whole 9 yards, what they were breathing, because it's important to know what you were ingesting, and what could cause the problem based on if it was a super long period of time with a very high toxic item based on how hard you want to hit the thing, right? So we give him like 4 months of super high dose vitamin C on a Monday, and then an NAD treatment, a vitamin C on a Monday, followed by a huge dose of glutathione push, and then an NAD treatment on Friday. This dude right now could run a marathon in 4 months, gone out of system, and he was in burn pits for a long period of time. The other interesting thing that I see is this. We have a lot of women that come in weekly for IVs. We do about 30 to 50 IVs a week out of the Boca office right here. This is, and Casey just said this, if you wear a lot of makeup and you're around by fragrances and you come in and you want a glutathione push, I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to fucking throw up. Because the people that are people that work at gas stations around cars a lot, that are their hands are on oil and gas, and they absorb that into their body, and then they want to detox that. I watch people in the chair get really sick on a quarter of the dose that I take on a weekly basis. I take a high level vitamin C push every Monday with a B complex blend with magnesium and zinc, and then I do a glutathione push after. And then as well as an NAD drip every 10 days. I cannot tell you how amazing, and I'm a pretty healthy guy, and it's a game changer. Like, it's night and day. And then you see people come in who think they're in the best shape of their life, and they want to throw up after like 10 mLs of 200 milligrams of glutathione. It's scary, and no one realizes it. And I can tell right away if you're a smoker, God help you, please. Like, you're done on that chair. So like those forms of treatment it's the real thing. It really is the real thing. And I mean, the whole way my whole entire body functions now versus then when I wasn't doing stuff like that, like my joints don't hurt as much. Even my bowel movements are cleaner. Like I feel better. My energy's great. My sleep's amazing. Talk to us a little bit about what happens when you have high toxicity levels inside your body, even if it's not cancer, because I really feel like you're an expert on that matter.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, that's a good way to get into this. So, when you have so many toxins in your body, when you don't realize just how toxic you are, because I didn't, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was wearing all the polyester fabrics. I was, doing, all the unhealthy things that you can do, like drink, all those things, like filling my body with toxins. I had my fragrances. I was using bleach all the time. I had plugins and candles and all of the things that, they like, they convince you it's good for us. You have no idea until you know. And so all that things, from the military experience, heavy metals, I was exposed to uranium because, flying and fixing helicopters, the components have uranium. You have to work with those components, and you're shooting a 50 caliber machine gun. Those rounds, all these things add up. And then radar systems, like the FLIR, you're getting blasted by radiation the whole time. So when it came to detoxification, man, I was like, as toxic as you can be. And, when I started detoxing, like you talked about, like Herxheimer's reaction, where you have too much, pathogenic activity or, toxins in the body get released at one time and your body's overloaded. So it's hard to get it out. So these people that are going with detox sickness, feeling like they have the flu, so there's a lot in our systems, guys, that we don't even realize because we're kind of like working at a disadvantage. We're already at a deficit when we step outside of our house every day. So you have to be proactive because the toxins in your body are really causing cancers, they're killing us and causing systemic issues. And that's why we talk about test, don't guess, right? You need to know what toxins are in your body. You need to know that because there's different ways to pull them out. And you have to be gentle with some people. You're talking about doing a quarter of the dose of glutathione and they're throwing up, and that you're right, because people don't even realize how toxic they are. So there's some simple things you can do to change that, right? Like all your cleaning products. Look at your cleaning products. Get them out of the house. There's alternatives in there that don't make you sick, like very clean alternatives, vinegar, water. Like baking soda. These are simple things, guys, that we used to use, way back in the day, and it wasn't an issue. So now we have fragrances, right? So women, men wearing perfumes, colognes, putting this makeup on, or like spraying these aerosols all over you. If you all knew how toxic that was, it's an endocrine disruptor. So like your glands, like your pituitary gland, hormones and stuff like that, like these endocrine disruptors for men and females are destroying their abilities to have kids and functioning properly. And this is, the different fabrics we put on our body, like polyesters, or like how they have all these leggings that these women are wearing, and they don't realize like these leggings are so bad for you. Your skin is the largest organ in your body, and you just absorb through the skin. So you're just absorbing this toxic material, and so there's these basic things that are just there we're all dealing with, and learning how to detox from it. So you have to have something in your system to bind to the toxins when you're detoxing, or else you just push the toxins all over your body, and you may get some out, but you're not getting it all out. So you do like sauna, right? Infrared sauna is really great for detoxification. Your normal sauna is good for detoxification. And you want to make sure you have your binders in you for your getting in. And there's little tips and tricks to all that kind of stuff.
Would you say binders?
Binders, yeah. So you'll have like magnetic clay, charcoal, bentonite is the clay I'm speaking on. And there's different, minerals from the earth that'll bind to toxins in your body and pull them right out.
So you put that inside the sauna with you?
Yeah, so you take them. So you'll take the binders or little capsules of charcoal, and you take them with some water. You put some castor oil over your liver to help liver detox, and your body will release. And then you need to have a bowel movement to get that out of your system. So some magnesium will help with that. But these are things that we all need to know, especially our brothers and sisters that have served. We don't get taught after the military how to heal ourselves. It's just like, here, 3 days and you're gone. But really, you spend 10 to 15 years after you get out, like becoming ill and then figuring out how to heal after that. It's kind of rough.
So, I mean, it really is amazing to me, like, because there's a lot of different subjects that I could touch on right now that are not presented properly to people transitioning out of the military. It's kind of like, here's your shit, see you later, thanks for your time. And I contributed on a much higher level, but I contributed to sometimes dealing with some of my pro athletes that retire from the NFL. It's like, all right, next, and it's a shame because it doesn't seem like it's like that much to actually educate, right? They're educating you. They probably put millions of dollars into your training when you were in the military, based on what you just told me that you did. And for them to just take that for granted, you'd think that you'd want someone exiting the military of your status to go out and be like, that was an amazing experience. And when I left, they actually helped me transition way better, instead of having this mentality of, they kind of fucked me, which I'm starting to see a lot more and more. My dearest, two of my really good friends are retiring out of 20th group right now. And hopefully you'll be at my event this year. You got invited through Cody. It's in South Carolina. I'd love to have you as a guest. And they'll both be there. And they're just like, dude, I mean, I cannot believe how important I was one day and how much of a piece of shit I felt like the next. And it's hard to hear, right? It's like, man, like that you just gave them 17 years of your life, and then you're leaving with, a piece of paper that says you can go to the VA and get some help, and they're just going to give you a bunch of fucking pills that aren't going to help you. They're just going to get you addicted so Big Pharma can make a shitload of money and pay the government back some more tax money. It's just like the worst cycle in the world to like the people that have sacrificed a shitload. And, it makes me crazy. I could go off on a tangent with that. I want to ask you something that came to mind earlier. Obviously, your time in the military probably wasn't the easiest time. You probably saw a lot. You went through a lot, from what I'm aware. And the will to live. And the things that you had to do to stay on top of your game in the military. Do you think that contributes anything to your demeanor today? Do you think that you have a different mindset than most people going through what you're going through now?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, this is the whole mindset. When the doctor said, "Hey, you got 3 months to live," I'm like, bro, dodged RPGs. Like, you give me this statistical probability of survival, and I'm still making it. And all these little things, you know, you're flying in a helicopter, you could die at any moment, machine gun fire everywhere. Like, you got to think, man, a doctor telling me I had 3 months to live, that's a lifetime. So yes, absolutely, the combat experience, the military experience, take the combat out of it, just the discipline it takes to be a Marine or in the military in general, and to be a successful, you know, member of the military, not, you know, someone that's just getting by. You know, it definitely serves you, especially in a cancer battle, especially, so cancer, you're getting cancer because the cancer is showing you what you need to heal. So when you have the discipline to heal, or the discipline to just do your research and follow a protocol, yeah, man, the military, the experience is invaluable because, oh, you're going to die. It's like, I was ready to die already. You give me 3 months, I'm cool, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm a big believer there's no coincidences. Like, I don't, when people say that, I'm like, dude, get that shit out of your vocabulary. Because I've had a lot of real coincidences then. And for some reason, I cannot believe that certain people, certain things have happened to me. I've been 2 seconds away from four other of my boys being killed. Should have been there, wasn't, like, and I'm on this other journey. Or, you know, when you go this just happened to me like a month ago. I went through it. I was in my driveway on the phone. I decided not to drive, and I put the phone down after about 2 minutes, drove up the road, went through a green light, and the car behind me gets T-boned by a fucking truck, and the person dies. Can you imagine if I was a second away from being that dude? And I really truly believe there's a reason for it. And the fact that you're like not taking, the doctor that knows a lot about what you're going through, as your like end all be all, just says a lot. Because I mean, I've since the trip been really going through your social and stuff and really kind of seeing your progress and seeing how driven you are. And like, I haven't, it hasn't been the poor me. And I say to myself, and I was actually in bed, I do bookends, I get up in the morning, I train, I sauna, I cold plunge, I do a reading, I get spiritual, I start my day. And then I end my day pretty much the same exact way. And I was thinking about you this morning because of this podcast, and I was like, during the time that I sit in peace, I was like, I wonder how I would be reacting in that situation. Like, man. And I guess, I guess it really just comes down to the fact that, you're in it. So you got to fucking deal with it. And you got to deal with it like in a positive manner, because being negative in anything always fails you. So, I mean, it's just such an amazing thing to watch you be so positive. So what are the next steps that you have going on right now with the audience to understand? I'm going to cut this up. Guys, we're doing a big campaign for Casey the first week of September, and maybe all the way through September. We're going to have some goals put in place. A passion for me is the military, and a passion for me is obviously my best friend's son calls, and we're there to help him, and extended to Casey going through what he's going through. Don't call me if you're short on paying for your kid's college. Don't call me if you're pregnant and you need money, because that shit really pisses. I just had a GoFundMe sent to me because so-and-so got pregnant and she needs money because she's having a kid. I'm like, bro, my best friend's son has stage 4 cancer. Call him up, explain to him that if he says, yeah, give you money, I'll do it. Like, get off your ass and figure out there's a lot of single moms out there. Like, figure that shit out. The fact is that like a lot of this stuff, and I'm a target for it. I mean, I celebrate the fact of my success. I celebrate the fact that I help as many people as I possibly can. But at the same time, like, in a situation that you're in, you're not taking the situation for yourself. You're taking the situation a lot for other people. Like, you're a wealth of knowledge for a bunch of other people. And that's what's so attractive to me about you. It's not just like, hey, I'm doing this for myself. It's like, no, I'm going to beat this and I'm going to help people. So talk to us about what your journey looks like coming up here in like the next 6 to 8 months. Like, what type of steps you're taking, what type of needs that you might have, and how people can help.
Yeah, brother. Thank you. So this is, this is all a learning process. You start off in this healing process and you might make some mistakes, but you just refine this process. You refine your own protocols and you see what is best for you. So I've now, after 2.5 years of, on my healing journey, I figured out just what my body needs. And now I'm at a point where every time I have a scan and something comes back, it's like I'm being taught another lesson. I sit back and I reevaluate introspectively and see where I've gone wrong and see where I could have done better. And so I formulated this plan. Pretty much, guys, like the reason why I'm in the situation I'm in right now, one, stress. So like changing my life where I have support, because I don't have support. It's me and my wife and my 1-year-old child, man. So when I'm, passed out, knocked myself out because I passed out and I've got a concussion on the ground, my wife trying to help me with her daughter, you got no support. So big thing is having support. So we're moving to Idaho. Cody's just an incredible brother. Him and his family and the people up there, the community, have really welcomed us with open arms, and they're going to help me and my family because I need to travel. I need to do treatments. I need to go explore more. Financially, it's tough when you're not doing standard of care, and because of the damage that I have to my body from my job in the Marine Corps, I can't even do. I wouldn't do radiation and chemo if that was an option, but especially because my body can't handle it anyways. It's just not an option for me. So this move going forward, I formulated this idea, and different treatments and stuff. Having the ability to go do more intensive care treatments in like California, or if I raise enough money, there's other places in Mexico. But I just need to have the ability to go do extensive testing. I need to go to the specialist, right? I need to go figure out who knows how to get uranium out of my bones without killing me in the process. I need to go figure out, just the amount of research I've done and where I'm at right now. The therapies I want to do, I can buy the machines and do it myself. So yeah, it might be 20, 30, 40 grand right up front, but that's saving me, because this is a lifetime process of healing until I get all this toxicity out of my body. And that's hard. So being able to afford my treatments, getting other machines that I need so I can run like lymphatic. Your lymphatic system needs to be able to move freely so you can even get the treatments you need. You can do all the IV therapies in the world, but if your lymphatic system is all jacked up and not moving, you're going to be wasting a lot of the vitamins and minerals that you are trying to pay all this money for to get. So, really refining my approach in the most optimal way. And I've optimized everything now. So the goal is to just get to Idaho. My friend up there owns a clinic, and I can get some extra machines, put them up there, and then I could run my own treatments as if I was going to Mexico anyways, and I don't have to spend $100,000 to go to Mexico. I can just spend, the money I raise in a better fashion and continue treatment, not 60 grand, then I have to go back year after year. Like, the goal is to eradicate the cancer completely, to just never have to go through this again. And just haven't had the proper environment for this. It's a lot of stress. There's a lot on my shoulders, and I just need to be able to be Casey. I need to be able to go heal. I need to be able to travel at a moment's notice to some random place in the middle of the woods to go do whatever treatment it just doesn't matter. I'm willing to take it to whatever level I need to stay alive. So, that's my moving forward is just community support, and then getting machines I need for treatment that I can just do by myself, because this is a lifelong battle. So, that's the next steps for me for sure.
What like, as far as dealing with normal practitioners and stuff like that, that's completely off the table for you, correct? Like, you've just ruled that out completely based on information that you've provided.
They're every time I go try to talk to somebody, they're like, "Hey, have you done this?" It's like, and then my response is, "Have you even researched that? For you to offer me that therapy, say CAR T immune therapy, or genetically modified tumor, material to go back in there and whatever." But these immunotherapies are killing people. Clinical trials are killing people, and I'm still alive, and I haven't had to do any of that stuff. So, It's a man, you really just have to be confident in your ability to heal, brother, because if you're not, you won't. And the practitioners will tell you what I'm doing is not working. These doctors, I work with a surgeon. I don't have an oncologist. I don't have a general physician or anything like that, man. It's just, hey, I can hire someone to read my blood work. Cool, if I need to. And then if I have any questions, I can find a resource. But it's really just people tell me what I'm doing isn't working, which is hard to believe, right? Neuro-oncologists from Duke, like oncologists from everywhere else, it's not working. And even a lot of these alternative therapy clinics, like they're doing their best, but they're not getting it right. They're doing what they can, but they're mixing it up, and you know. So yeah, man, it's really just it's me, bro. Like it's really me.
Well, I mean, man, I got to tell you, I'm really grateful to have you on today. I've been I don't know if Cody's told you this, but I'm on this like self-help journey right now for myself. I've committed to doing like a lot of things that are very uncomfortable for myself. Moving forward in life, I was getting really complacent with work. I've my financial dreams have become true, but then you get there and you're just like, okay, like now what? It's like a lot of my friends that are in the same position, they're just like buying shit. I have the same jeans from like 5 years ago. Shirts I wear, people send me. Like the only shit I spend a lot of money on is hunting and my kids. But I'm sure Cody's told you the passion for like the woods that I have is kind of sickening. But that's where just like you said, man, I'm telling you right now, you said something that was really true. I have a boy down here in Florida that is dangerous as it is. He hunts fucking barefoot in the woods, and he like gets a high from it. He gets like this energy and this like feeling like he's walking in J.W. Corbett, which is one of the most dangerous places in Florida to hunt, is the highest population of cottonmouths. It has alligators freaking everywhere. It's got recluses everywhere. And he's just like, dude, the happiest dude in the world. And I'm like in fucking knee-high waders, snake boots on. Like, fuck this shit. Like, But I mean, that's how he hunts. He's like, he's a savage like that. And he's like, if that's where I'm going to go, I'm going to go. But I'll tell you right now, like, this is my piece. And, it's just like stuff like that I really enjoy, and I'm 45 years old right now, and there's a lot of things that I've skipped over during my financial journey and the growth of my company, and to show my kids that shit's not important. I'm taking a lot, and for myself, I'm taking a lot of new steps now, and just to be able to communicate with you and talk to you about this type of stuff, and you being super open, vulnerable. It really helps me. Like it really does help me. I know it's going to help the audience. We have a lot of people that watch this podcast. We have a lot of people that watch these clips, and I want them to know that I'm a big supporter of you, and I'm sure they will be too. And if there's anything that we can do, don't hesitate. Please call us. Call me. Hope we can stay in touch. Hope I get to meet you this year when I get out there, and definitely during the event. And I just really want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming on.
Yeah, brother. Thanks for having me on, dude. And like you said, this journey that I'm on is not for myself, bro. Like I have a lot invested in this for the world. It's a worldly love because I get on this cell phone, dude. This thing is a detriment. This is not good for my health. You know what I mean? So I'm sharing my journey, and I'm at a deficit for my health because I have to share this journey. I have no choice. Me and God already had the conversation. I'm here for that. You know what I mean? So I'm putting it all on the line. And but in saying that, my daughter and my wife get to see me in this capacity. You know what I mean? The world gets to see me in this capacity. I get to show this side of me that for me is really easy to. This is who I am. And you give me a platform. You give me an opportunity to go show some of that. And I'm going to be able to help a lot of people. I already know it. So, Sid, thank you from the bottom of my heart for just allowing me to come on here and share a little bit, brother.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'll be in touch with you, and much love, my friend. Look forward to speaking soon.
All right. Always love, brother.
Thanks, guys.